Hi guys, welcome back to the Red Eagle. Today we're doing a Senate prediction for 2020. We did the election prediction last week. This week we're going to do the Senate election. All right, so I'm going to start by filling out the states that are probably for sure going to be blue states. Oregon would most likely go blue. New Mexico, probably easily. I don't think there's a Republican right now that wants to challenge. Even if Susana Martinez challenges Tom Udall, you still probably not going to have her win. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware. Those are all states that are most likely going to go for the Democrats. You know what? Wait a minute. Let me change New Mexico to likely because there's a chance that Susana Martinez, the former Republican governor, does decide to run for Senate there. It could make it a little competitive. So we'll put that in the likely column. Now let's give the states that Republicans will almost certainly hold on to. That would be Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, most likely, Mississippi, Tennessee. I think Peyton Manning, the quarterback's actually going to run. I think he's going to take that seat. He's expressed interest in running. South Carolina, I believe Lindsey Graham is going to hold that. And up in Maine, even though it's kind of a lean blue state in general, Susan Collins is just extremely popular there. They're pretty sure she's going to end up taking the seat. You know, even in 2008 when Obama won the state by 20 points, she outperformed him by 40. People are saying her Kavanaugh vote's going to hurt her. Personally, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think people just have forgotten it by that point, and I don't really see a reasonable challenger coming up. I also forgot to add South Dakota, Wyoming, and Idaho to this column. Also Illinois. Illinois would go safe blue. Dick Durbin's probably going to win by, even if Bruce Rauner did want to challenge him, the former Republican governor, Durbin would still win by 20 points. I don't like the guy personally, but he's just a fairly, likable in that state, high approval ratings, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's do the likely. We'll do the likely Republican states now. So Montana will probably go Republican. There's always been a group of Democrats there, like in the Senate, John Tester, for example, Steve Bullock, their current governor, that have always outperformed at the Senate or governor level compared to the presidential level. Now, personally, I think that Steve Daines is a pretty popular incumbent. I don't know if anyone's going to challenge him. If Steve Bullock does decide to run for Senate, this could get very tight, but right now I'm putting it in the likely column. Same thing for Kentucky. In Kentucky, Mitch McConnell is very, very unpopular. He's one of the most unpopular senators. The fact is that there probably is just nobody out there to challenge him, even though states like West Virginia and Kentucky are known to have large numbers of conservative Democrats that are conservative that voted for Bill Clinton but also voted for President Trump. Same thing with West Virginia. I just don't really see a current challenger, but if there was one, they could potentially make those races closer. All right, also Alaska, I forgot to include. Alaska would probably be in the safe red column for right now. So let's go state by state what we have left here. Arizona, I would put in the lean Republican column. Martha McSally is very moderate there. I think that she'll do pretty well in this special election. I don't think Democrats are going to mount a large challenger. Remember, Kyrsten Sinema only really did well there in Arizona because she was the most moderate member of the House at the time that she was elected. So she had a lot of appeal, especially appeal to seniors there. It wasn't just, the electorate didn't change demographically a whole lot over the past, 4 years. It was just mainly the candidates. I expect Arizona to stay in the Republican column this time around when it comes to the Senate. And Texas, I would probably put in the likely column if Beto O'Rourke wants to challenge John Cornyn. He's a lot more popular than Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is very unpopular in Texas, more unpopular than Donald Trump is in Texas. And even Texas being a red state, you saw in a blue turnout year that was a lot closer. So, yeah, I think that Texas would be in the likely column. I also think Alabama Doug Jones is a nice guy to a lot of Republicans, but he's just a little too far left for Alabama. Remember, Roy Moore was the worst candidate possible in the world, and Doug Jones only won by like 1.7%. And I'm even confident at a presidential turnout election year that Roy Moore would probably be able to win Alabama if there was a high amount of turnout. So there's that. Now, Georgia, I'd put in the lean column. Georgia's getting a little closer. Atlanta suburbs are growing significantly. A lot of people moving from places in the Midwest down there. But still, I think it's still a pretty red state. And I think in the Senate race, even if they decide to run, someone who appears to be moderate to many people like Stacey Abrams, even though she's got conflicting positions, whether she's campaigning in the suburbs of Atlanta versus campaigning in the city of Atlanta, she'll flip-flop. I think that it's a pretty red state, and Trump's going to drive up turnout there for Republicans in a presidential year. I'm pretty sure Purdue holds on probably by 3 to 4 points at a minimum. That brings us up to North Carolina. North Carolina, I see Tom Tillis winning again. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of Democratic competitors that he's got, and Trump will probably win it in the general year. I think Tillis is going to win it again. He's a lot more popular in North Carolina than Richard Burr is. Now, Virginia, I'm putting it in the lean blue. It probably would have been likely or safe before the craziness that took place in their government recently. If there's a picture of Mark Warner in blackface, which wouldn't surprise me at this point, his approval would drop and he'd probably lose. But that's far-fetched at the moment. For right now, it's lean blue. I think Republicans will do a lot better there based on the chaos in their government, the governor's plummeting approval ratings, et cetera, et cetera. Now that brings us to Iowa. Joni Ernst is their current senator. She's very popular. She'll probably end up winning by around 10 points. I don't think that there's a whole lot of competitors she's got going on. I know Democrats were energized there in the midterms, but they still elected a Republican governor over a blue dog Democrat competitor. So Iowa, I would put in that column. Now, Colorado is the flip of the Democrats. Cory Garner is not popular there. He's been losing in certain polls. Republicans think he's a rhino. I don't really have anything against him personally. I just see him losing. I think Hickenlooper's going to run for the Senate race there, whether Hickenlooper runs for the presidency or not, and he's going to take Colorado. I think he's going to run for the Senate seat, and even if he doesn't, pretty much any Democrat could take it. If Trump does happen to be doing well in Colorado come 2020, I could see it changing, but right now I'm going to put it in the lean blue. Same thing with Minnesota. Tina Smith, the incumbent, the former lieutenant governor, appointed to the seat from Al Franken, who is allegedly, there's pictures of him like groping children that are sleeping or something like that. And she won. It didn't really affect her when she ran for the special election, so she'll be running for a full term. Republicans could easily, make a play for this seat. I don't see a candidate right now, so I'm going to have to put it in the lean blue column, but it still could change. Michigan, however, this might not be the most popular pick if you're watching this channel, if you are a Democrat, but I'm pretty sure that John James, who came utterly close, kind of defying the historical expectations of midterm years, came very close to knocking off Stabenow, who had much higher approval ratings than Peters, a much higher name recognition. And James won a lot of counties that Stabenow had won in years like 2012, where Republicans did better. And she won by 20. This time around, she only won by 6. Peters is only a one-term incumbent. Last time he ran against a candidate who threw a giant temper tantrum, and she was leading in the polls, Terry Lynn Land. She threw a giant temper tantrum and ended up losing by about 15 points. I do think that this time around, John James, he's got a lot more name recognition than Peters at this point. Trump's going to come down, probably do some rallies with him. He's a great candidate. I've met him personally, a cool guy. I think he's going to win. that. And New Hampshire is an odd state. Jian Shaheen is running for another term. I don't know much about her, but I do know that there's several candidates that could come up for the Republicans, either Scott Brown, who was a senator from Massachusetts, but he moved up to New Hampshire after Elizabeth Warren beat him, ran in 2014 to Shaheen and lost. Also, I think Kelly Ayotte, who got bounced in 2016, could run again. She's got a lot of name recognition there. I think that would be a good choice for them. Right now, it's too close to call. I'll put it in the tilt column for the Democrats, even though I don't try not to use the tilt column. So by this logic, I have the Republicans gaining a seat in the Senate. They're going to hold on. I really can't see a scenario where they lose unless Trump tanks the economy, which I don't see happening. I think he's going to keep winning, which that leads us to the vice presidential column here, which we're just going to put red because I'm pretty sure Trump's going to win re-election. It would just be very rare to see an incumbent lose with a strong economy, even with all the gaffes and media coverage and all that. He's still going strong. So, yeah, that's my Senate prediction. Hope you guys like this video. Please, even if you disagree, feel free to subscribe and like this video just to hear my analysis. And if you're new, please subscribe, like this video, hit the bell for notifications, comment your opinion. I appreciate any kind of constructive criticism, and yeah, that's it. So Red Eagle, out.